Hello and welcome guys, this is our second video in intermediate cognitive skills, and today we're gonna continue talking about our core beliefs, assumptions and so on. So in the previous video I showed you this drawing, my masterpiece. Here you can see that on the top we have a top of an iceberg. These are visible behaviors, actions and emotions and thoughts. On the second layer we have assumptions, and deep inside we have core beliefs. So we can have different core beliefs about ourselves, others and the world around us. I talked about it more in detail in previous videos, so please check it out if you haven't seen it yet. And today in particular we're going to talk about how our core beliefs are working and kind of filtering our perception of reality. It's very, very interesting, so let's begin. So, unfortunately, our core beliefs have the power to basically lock us into prison of our own worldview. So here I created second masterpiece. You can see a set person locked down in their core belief. So let's say this person has a core belief that I am unlovable. Okay, so this is their core belief. And what happens is, imagine that this is like a nightclub or something, and on the entrance you have face control, and this face control only lets grumpy people come in, and all the smiling people, they tell go away. So here we see all the grumpy people coming inside and all the happy people just not being able to get inside this core belief and this person's life. So this is basically what is going on. Our core beliefs work in such a way that it, they don't let us notice and even let in our mind any ideas or any evidence that is contradictory to that belief. Like, for example, if my belief is that I am ugly, I will pay a lot of attention to all the people who tell me I am ugly and completely discredit and not even notice when somebody actually smiles and say I'm pretty. Oi. Sorry, catastrophe with that. Yeah, so our core belief works in that way, that first of all it makes us blind to any evidence that does not correspond to our belief. And secondly, if we after all notice this evidence, it makes us see it in a twisted way. Like, for example, if I believe that I am ugly and somebody tells me I am pretty, my belief can make me see the situation in that way, that, oh, they must be drunk. Why else would they say I'm pretty? Or what is wrong? Maybe they need something from me. They want to use me in some way. That's why they're telling me lies that I'm pretty and something like that. So, or I can think something like, maybe they like me because actually they are pretty ugly themselves. So, and this is why it's so difficult for, this is why many people who, have low self-esteem, they find it really difficult to believe somebody likes them. And actually, if somebody does like them, it's much easier for them to just think that this person is not good enough and that's why they like me, than changing this idea that I am not good enough. So I hope you understand what I mean. So basically what we have is that this kind of face control only lets facts that correspond to our core belief come inside, and it doesn't let any facts that do not correspond to this core belief inside. And if we have some smiling person coming close, then the face control can let it inside, but at first it will make it grumpy. Like, if somebody smiling approaches, it tells it, I don't know, it kicks it in the knee, and this smiley person gets all grumpy, and then they are allowed to go inside. So, for example, if somebody tells me I'm pretty and I believe I'm ugly, I'm thinking like, oh, they are ugly themselves. That's why they say I'm pretty. Actually, I'm ugly. And if somebody tells me I'm ugly, I'm like, yeah, I know, that's right. Come in, please. And if somebody, let's say, Let's take some other example. Let's take an example that your core belief is that other people are evil. This way, you are only going to notice facts of other people being evil to you. And if you see neutral facts where there is no evidence of people being evil, or good facts that people are actually good, you're gonna either not notice them or twist them in evil way. And like, for example, if your core belief is that people are evil and they are using each other, this way when you see somebody doing a nice thing, you can start getting suspicious of thinking like, oh, they're trying to manipulate me into helping them or something like that. So this is how our core belief works. It filters our reality. It makes us notice only things that correspond to our core belief. And it's not just core beliefs, basically any kind of bias works like that. Like if you believe that blonde people are stupid, let's say, you're gonna remember all the cases of situations and facts that say the same and completely ignore all the cases that say the opposite. If you believe that, I don't know, riding a bicycle is dangerous, this way you will remember and notice all the news about riding bicycle that is dangerous and completely forget all the, successful cases of riding a bicycle. And this can create this horrible prison for the person because you get locked inside your core beliefs. Even if you are surrounded by people who could love you, if you believe deep inside that you are unlovable, you can never feel loved by them. If you are surrounded by beautiful scenery and wonderful, I don't know, wonderful summer evening, and you could just enjoy it, but if your core belief is that there is danger in this world and I have always be in control and on guard, you cannot relax, you cannot let yourself be happy because you have this core belief that the world is dangerous. If you have the core belief that you are useless, you are a loser, you cannot achieve anything, even if you actually manage to do something and other people tell you like, wow, it's a big achievement, you cannot actually let it come close to you, and you just justify it that, oh, I was just lucky, or anyone can do it, or it's not a big deal, and so on and so on. And this is why core beliefs can be such a prison for us, because they only let us see things that we believe and not let us see all the other possible facts. But there are positive people as well. I discussed in our basic cognitive skills optimistic people. They do the same but with good things. So for example, their face control likes smiling people and they only let in smiling people. And even if somebody grumpy comes up, they just don't notice it. So if somebody believes they are very smart, they are gonna only remember things and cases in which they were very smart and not remember cases in which they were very stupid. And this is partly why stupid people who believe they're smart are so unbearable. It's because of that. They also have this resistant core belief that they just live inside. Okay, so unfortunately, it's also like that. So, what is our goal? Our goal is to be able to see not only grumpy people, but also to be able to see people with neutral face expression, smiling people, laughing people, crying people, different kinds of people. And people here are just metaphors. So our goal is to see different kind of facts and understand that our life cannot be described by one core belief, that this core belief is just a distortion, that for example, there is no such thing as you being ugly or pretty. Like, let's say I have core belief I am ugly. It's radical, it doesn't work. Different people would say I'm pretty, other people would say I'm ugly, and our goal is to see all of those people and not just those who say I'm ugly. Same for this idea that I am smart. Different kind of events will show me that actually I'm not as smart as I thought. Other kinds of events will show me that I have smartness in some other things. So instead of creating this black and white idea that you are either ugly or beautiful, either smart or stupid, either very special and unique or worse than everybody else and not worth anything. Instead of having this black and white thinking, we can have more varied perception of ourselves, of other people, and the world around us. So instead of saying that I am ugly, you could say like, oh, on certain days I look prettier, on certain days not. Some people like how I look, some people don't. In some cases I'm very smart and I can do this task very well, but if I have never done it before and I need to fix a car, I won't be able to do it. So we develop this kind of flexible and multicolorful vision of ourselves, other people, and the world around us. And as I showed on this, instead of having just one pyramid where we have deep core beliefs that are rigid, we have many different pyramids. And because we have many different varied beliefs and understanding of the world, of other people, of ourselves, we can choose many different reactions. So when we see the world, ourselves, other people in more nuanced way, in more how to say, in more detail, in more nuance, then we can adapt to it much better, and then we can actually see the reality and not just get locked down in this kind of cage. So this is our goal, this is your goal to develop. And what we're gonna do to develop it, today I'm going to give you one exercise that is called Socratic questioning. I think you have heard it before, so if you didn't, stay with me, let's discuss. So basically what we do is that we figure out our core beliefs. We did it in the previous video. We can also make a list of our different assumptions and rules that are on the second layer, you know, here on this layer. So for example, if your core belief is that I am ugly, your second layer, your assumption would be I shouldn't go out and wear pretty dress because people will laugh at me because I'm ugly. So, you know, assumption is something like a rule that comes from your core belief. So you take your core beliefs, you take your assumptions, you write them down, and then we're going to use Socratic questioning to challenge them and to find if they're actually true or not. So Socratic questioning goes like that. First of all, you write down one particular idea, belief, or assumption. Let's say the assumption is I am ugly. After that, we ask next questions. First one, what is the proof that this statement is correct, it's true? So for example, I am ugly, what is the proof? Let's say I would say that the proof is that when I go out, people don't fall in love with me with every step I make, or something like that, you know, or that I am ugly because I'm filming those videos and they are not super popular, so people are not watching them because I'm ugly. You can see how those proof, they are not actually proof, they are twisted perception, because we could argue against that. We can say that, yeah, but maybe people don't fall in love with you if you just go outside, because people just don't fall in love only with beauty. Or maybe you could say that maybe also people don't watch videos just to see beautiful people and only for that reason, or something like this. So we can argue with that, but it's not the point. So first of all, please make a list of all the proof of your idea. Like for example, if your core belief is I am stupid, list all the facts, list all the proof. Next, what you can use is try to argue with this proof. Like for example, me saying that I am ugly because nobody is watching this video, or not enough people are watching this video. I can argue with that it doesn't really prove I am ugly. It can be because of other reasons. So try to argue a bit with this proof you're naming, and you can also write it down, your critiques of your argument. Second question is, what is the proof that this statement is wrong? Like, for example, you have a statement, I am ugly, and you write down all the possible proof that this statement is wrong. You remember all the people who told you you are actually beautiful. You remember all the compliments you got in your life and so on. You try to remember all the cases that prove that you're actually not ugly. And you do the same basically for any statement. Like, for example, if your statement is other people are dangerous, you can first list the proof of why it is true, and then list the proof of why it is not true. Then third question you're going to ask yourself is, what can be different approach, different view of the same situation? So, for example, saying I am ugly, the different approach can be that saying I'm ugly is too radical. In reality, I'm maybe not the most amazingly beautiful person on the planet, but also I'm pretty beautiful. That I'm beautiful enough. So, kind of finding different approach, or can be like different approaches that our today's beauty standards are racist, so I refuse to accept this ugly label because I don't want to follow those racist beauty standards. So if I have like a bit of a, mountain on my nose, that's because I'm beautiful actually. So something like that. So kind of looking differently on this situation, or saying that, yeah, maybe on today's beauty standards I'm supposed to be to look that way, but if I look at beautiful women, let's say 200 years ago, I'm not worse than them. So let's say that the beauty standards change, and this is true as well. So if we're talking about the example that other people are dangerous, you can also see other ways to look at this. That, for example, other people are not dangerous, they're neutral, and yeah, there are some dangerous people in this world, but not the majority. And with many people, I can actually communicate and rely on them and so on. And also that other people are not dangerous, but they might be not perfect and they might not always make the right decision. So it's normal that they make mistakes, and not all mistakes are necessarily unnecessarily happening because the other person is evil, let's say. So basically, question number 3, we try to find other ways to see the same situation, like other viewpoints, other possible interpretations of it, other possible meanings of this situation. Okay, fourth question is that if this statement is correct, if we suggest that the worst thing is true, that actually, let's say, I'm ugly, or other people are evil, or I will fail this exam, or something else, ask yourself, how could I manage it? How could I fix it? Or how could I survive through this? It's especially useful not only for core beliefs, but for example, if you have anxieties or you expect some kind of failure or disaster in the future, you can ask yourself, how would I deal with that? And write down how you can deal with that. And question number 5 is asking yourself, what is the best possible solution or consequence of this issue? Like, for example, you're facing an exam and you're really worried that you will fail it. So you imagine the worst thing is that you fail it, you get kicked out of your university and basically have to start over. And the best possible solution is that you pass this exam and continue studying, or even if you fail it, you become, I don't know, you find out that actually it was not profession for you and you become a popular stand-up comic or something like that. So this is best possible solution. Then question number 6 is finding most likely viewpoint, most likely result, most likely, most realistic approach to this problem. Like, for example, if we're talking about ugliness or beautifulness and all that, for me, I think that the most realistic approach is saying that actually nobody is that extremely beautiful all the time. Bodies change, people change, and of course there is beauty standard and media that creates the idea of beauty, so I should not compare myself to this. So this can be like realistic viewpoint. Or even if we're talking about the exam, the viewpoint can be that yes, it can happen that I fail it, but it's not very likely. It can happen that I pass it and become a genius. It can happen that I don't pass it and become super popular stand-up comic. But most realistic solution is that I pass it, but maybe not as my best exam ever. Okay, number 7 is asking yourself, does it help me to think that way? So what effect it gives to my life to think that way? Like, for example, if I think I'm ugly all the time, does it help me? What is the effect on my life? If I think I will fail this exam, what effect it has on me? For example, it's making me scared and anxious. I cannot eat, I cannot sleep, and because of it I won't perform very well on this exam. So we're talking about the effect of this thought on our life. Question number 8 is asking ourselves what the effect would be if we change this thought. Like, for example, if I believe I'm pretty, how it's going to change my life? What is going to be different? What opportunities I can use that I'm not using right now? Or if I believe that I can pass this exam, how it's going to change my life, and so on and so on. So you kind of compare what is more useful for you and kind of changing your ideas like clothes, basically, your thoughts like clothes. Okay, question number 9 is asking yourself, what would you say if your friend had a similar idea and you wanted to support them? And question number 10 is how you think what you should be doing about this idea, about this problem, and so on. But those later questions are more like additional. Most important are first several questions when you ask evidence for this statement and evidence against this statement. And I encourage you doing this Socratic questioning for any kind of core belief or assumption that comes up in your mind at any given time, especially when you are doing the previous exercise. So, for example, let's say you have this assumption that I need to be motivated to start doing something. Ask yourself evidence for it, against it, and question yourself what other approach is possible, and so on. Or your idea might be that if you try doing something new, people will laugh at you. You can ask yourself evidence for it, against it, and so on. So basically, Socratic questioning is used to doubt our automatic thoughts, our assumptions, and our core beliefs. And this will be your home task. Please, using your diaries, journals from basic cognitive skills training or from previous exercises, find out different ideas about yourself, about other people, about the world, and question them using this Socratic questioning. What is evidence for this statement and evidence against this statement? And what are other possible ways to look at the same problem or at the same situation from different perspective? This helps us to get out of our prison, of belief that is limiting us, that is controlling our life, and basically causing a lot of suffering. So it helps us to get out of this prison and be free and be surrounded by different life experiences, be surrounded by different people, and be able to be in contact with reality and not being locked up in our own beliefs. But of course, it won't change if you do it just once. So you need practice. I repeat it in every video. I think that you need practice for all these techniques. You need to do this Socratic questioning again and again and again about different kinds of beliefs. I suggest you have some kind of journal where you write it all down. Writing, it's much better than just doing it in your head. Writing, I always recommend writing. And you do it again and again and again and again until this belief or this thought stops coming and stops appearing. So yeah, this is our exercise, Socratic questioning, and we will continue in the next video. I hope it was useful, and please let me know which beliefs you found and which arguments for and against you found. I'm always really interested to know about your life experience and about your life circumstances. So basically, this Socratic questioning technique can be used both for core beliefs, assumptions, and automatic thoughts or just superficial beliefs or anxieties that you might have. So feel free to use it in many different ways. What you can also do if you want to do some extra task, you can use our ABCDE technique from the previous video, the previous basic cognitive skills training, and use this in order to dispute your thoughts. And you can also use the video called 10 cognitive distortions. I will try to remember to leave the link in description, and find those cognitive distortions in your thinking, in your assumptions, in your core beliefs, and this way you can also dispute them. So there are several different techniques with which you can work. And I will see you next time. Let me know in the comments how it goes, and remember to share my videos, put likes and subscribe, because YouTube will know that this is good content, which I really hope for. And bye bye.